Listen closely. Your words are either building your future or destroying it. Every conversation you enter is a negotiation of power, perception, and influence, whether you realize it or not. Smart communication is not about having a big vocabulary. It's about understanding human psychology. It's about speaking with clarity, control, and intention. Today, you stop talking randomly. Today, you learn to speak smart, with focus, with authority, and with a calm mind that cannot be shaken. This is the psychology of powerful communication. This is where everything changes. Listen. You need to understand something right now. Fast speech is not confidence. Fast speech is not intelligence. Fast speech is not power. Fast speech is panic. Fast speech is insecurity. Fast speech is the desperate need to be accepted, validated, or approved. And whether you know it or not, people can hear it. People can feel it. People can sense it in every rushed sentence you speak. You think you're being efficient. You think you're giving value quickly. You think you're making the conversation smoother, but you're not. You're signaling one thing. Please don't judge me. Please don't interrupt me. Please accept what I'm saying. When you talk fast, you're communicating fear. Fear of silence. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of not being respected. And here's the truth you must swallow. People do not respect fear. People respect control. That's the key. Now, listen carefully. Every powerful communicator, every leader, every judge, every executive, every person with real authority does one thing consistently. They speak slowly. They speak with calm. They speak with certainty. They speak with intention. Because power never rushes. Never. And I want you to let that sink in. Power never rushes. Watch the people who command rooms. Watch the people who lead companies. Watch the people who negotiate with millions on the table. They don't ramble. They don't scramble. They don't sprint through sentences. They pause. They breathe. They deliver. Why? Because the person who controls the pace controls the conversation, and the person who controls the conversation controls the outcome. You have a choice. You can keep talking fast like someone begging to be heard, or you can slow down and force people to listen. That's the key. Slowing down is not speaking less. It's speaking stronger. When you slow down, people lean in. People pay attention. People feel the weight of your words. Your message becomes clearer. Your confidence becomes visible. Your presence becomes undeniable. And right now, you need to reclaim that presence. Let's get practical. How do you stop talking fast? How do you speak with the calm authority of someone who owns their voice? You start with 3 anchor habits. Anchor 1, the 2-second breath. Before you speak, you breathe. 2 seconds. In through the nose, out through the mouth. A controlled pause. This tells your brain, I'm in control. This tells your body, there is no emergency. This tells your voice, speak with power. You have a choice. You can enter a conversation in panic, or you can enter with calm intention. Say it with me. Slow down to be taken seriously. Slow down to be understood. Slow down to control the room. Anchor 2. Speak in clean, sharp sentences. Fast talkers blend sentences together. They ramble. They spiral. They create long, tangled streams of thought that lose impact. Powerful communicators do the opposite. Short sentences, clear breaks, intentional delivery. You don't need their permission. You don't need their approval. You need discipline. Because it's not about sounding smart. It's about being understood. That's the key. Anchor 3. Own your pauses. Fast talkers fear silence, but smart communicators use silence like a weapon. Silence gives your words gravity. Silence gives your audience space to absorb. Silence shows you're not afraid of judgment. When you pause intentionally, you tell the room without saying it, I speak on my terms. And listen carefully. This is important. Pauses make people trust you. Pauses make you feel your certainty. Pauses make people follow you. You have a choice. Speak like someone you rush to finish, or speak like someone who chooses every word deliberately. The psychology behind slow speech. Let's go deeper. Why does slow speech create respect? Why does it instantly elevate your presence? Because slow speech signals 3 things. 1. Confidence. When you're confident, you don't rush. You don't fear interruption. You don't fear judgment. You know your message matters. You trust your voice. You trust your pacing. Slow speech is self-belief made audible. 2. Control. People follow those who seem in control of themselves. Your tone, your breath, your pacing. When these are controlled, you appear calm and capable. You become someone people listen to automatically. That's the key. 3. Maturity. Fast talk feels amateur. Slow speech feels seasoned. You sound like someone who has lived, someone who has seen things, someone who understands the world. When you talk fast, you sound unsure. When you slow down, you sound wise. And wisdom carries weight. A real-world truth you cannot ignore. Think about the people who intimidate you. Think about the people who inspire you. Think about the people who lead you. They don't sprint through their thoughts. They don't chase the conversation. They don't rush to be understood. They move at their pace. Their voice sets the temperature of the room. Their tone shapes the energy. Because authority is not volume. Authority is not vocabulary. Authority is pacing. The room adapts to the person who speaks slowly. The room adjusts to the person who controls the tempo. The room follows the person who owns their voice. You have a choice. You can let your anxiety speak for you, or you can let your discipline shape your voice. It's not about speed. It's about control. Not about impressing them. About grounding yourself. Not about showing off intelligence. About speaking with discipline. That's the key. Your new rule from this chapter. Starting today, your rule is simple. Slow down. If you want respect, slow down. If you want clarity, slow down. If you want control, slow down. Say it until it becomes a part of you. Slow down to be taken seriously. Slow down to be understood. Slow down to control the room. Every conversation is a test. Every room is an opportunity. Every sentence is a signal. Signal confidence. Signal control. Signal maturity. This is how smart speakers communicate. This is how powerful people speak. This is how you begin transforming your voice. You have a choice. Speak like who you used to be, or speak like who you're becoming. Transition to the next chapter. You've taken back control of your pacing. You've reclaimed your voice from fear. You've learned how slow speech creates power. Now it's time to elevate your presence even further.
Before you speak, before you open your mouth, before a single word leaves your tongue, you are already communicating. And most people have no idea this is happening. No idea that the conversation begins long before the sound of their voice. No idea that the room has already judged them, already categorized them, already decided how seriously to take them. That's the key. The conversation starts with your presence, not your words. You walk into a room and your body speaks. Your posture speaks. Your eye contact speaks. Your facial stillness speaks. Presence speaks first. Presence speaks louder. Presence decides how they hear you. This is why some people command attention the moment they appear, and others get ignored before they even try. You have a choice. You can be a person whose presence takes space, or a person whose presence disappears into the background. And listen carefully. It has nothing to do with height, looks, or status. It has everything to do with discipline. It's not about beauty. It's about behavior. It's not about charisma. It's about consistency. It's not about natural confidence. It's about practiced control. That's the key. Let's break down presence, because you must master this. There are 3 components of powerful presence: posture, eye contact, facial stillness. These 3 elements are your silent script, your unspoken authority, your pre-verbal influence. Get this right, and people lean in before you say a word. Get this wrong, and your voice loses power before it begins. 1. Posture. Your body is a signal. Your posture tells the room everything about your confidence. Rounded shoulders communicate weakness. Shrunken frames communicate insecurity. Nervous fidgeting communicates self-doubt. But a grounded posture, a balanced body, a lifted chest and relaxed spine, that communicates control. Stand like someone who belongs in the room. Stand like someone who isn't apologizing for being there. Stand like someone who trusts their own presence. You don't need their permission to stand tall. You don't need their approval to take space. You need discipline to hold your frame. You have a choice. Collapse like who you were, or stand like who you're becoming. That's the key. 2. Eye contact. The unspoken contract. Eye contact is not staring. Eye contact is not aggression. Eye contact is connection. The moment your eyes meet someone else's, you establish a contract. I see you. You see me, and I am present in this moment. Avoiding eye contact signals fear. Scanning the room signals insecurity. Looking down signals self-doubt. But steady, calm eye contact, that signals authority. That signals confidence. That signals readiness. Speak with your eyes before you speak with your voice. Connect before you communicate. Presence speaks first. Presence speaks louder. Presence decides how they hear you. You have a choice: hide behind evasiveness or show up with deliberate attention. 3. Facial stillness, the mark of a controlled mind. Your face is the window into your emotional discipline, and most people reveal too much. Rapid blinking, twitching lips, constant micro-reactions. All signs of a mind that is unsettled, a nervous system that is overwhelmed, a person who is not in control of themselves. But a still face, a calm expression, a neutral, composed baseline, that communicates internal mastery. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being intentional. It's not about hiding yourself. It's about owning yourself. That's the key. Facial stillness signals, I am not reacting. I am not rushing. I am in command of my energy. You don't need their permission to be calm. You don't need their validation to be composed. You need discipline to stay grounded. You have a choice: react like a child or respond like a leader. Now, let's introduce your most powerful tool, the 2-second pause. This will change every conversation you have. It will change how people perceive you. It will change how you perceive yourself. And it's simple. Before you speak, you pause for 2 full seconds. No rush, no panic, no scrambling to fill the silence. Just 2 seconds of grounded, controlled presence. This is how powerful people begin every message. This is how leaders claim psychological territory in the room. This is how you establish authority without saying a word. The 2-second pause is your reset button, your grounding point, your moment of ownership. Try it. Walk into the room, stop, make eye contact, hold your posture, keep your face calm. Then, 2 seconds. 1 breath in, 1 breath out. And then you speak. Presence speaks first. Presence speaks louder. Presence decides how they hear you. You have a choice: rush your words like you're afraid of them, or let your presence do the talking. Why does this work? Let's break down the psychology. Because humans read nonverbal cues before verbal ones. The brain scans posture, scans facial expressions, scans eye contact, scans energy, all in milliseconds. Your presence tells people whether you're confident, whether you're credible, whether you're worth listening to. When your presence is strong, people cooperate. When your presence is unstable, people challenge you. It's not your vocabulary that creates influence. It's your presence. That's the key. Real-world application. You walk into a meeting. Before you say hello, your posture introduces you. Before you shake a hand, your eyes set the tone. Before you share your opinion, your face reveals your composure. People trust calm speakers. People follow grounded speakers. People remember controlled speakers. You don't need their permission to show up with power. You don't need their approval to carry yourself with certainty. You need discipline to practice this consistently. Presence is a habit. Presence is a choice. Presence is the foundation of smart communication. Your new rule from this chapter. From this moment forward, your presence enters the room before you do. Every step is intentional. Every glance is deliberate. Every expression is controlled. Say it with me. Presence speaks first. Presence speaks louder. Presence decides how they hear you. Practice posture. Practice eye contact. Practice facial stillness. Practice the 2-second pause. This is not about perfection. This is about discipline. Not about impressing them, about grounding yourself. You have a choice. Be invisible or be unmistakable. Transition to the next chapter. You've learned to control the room before you speak. You've claimed authority without a single word.
Silence. The one tool almost nobody uses. The one tool almost everybody fears. The one tool that will instantly change the way people respond to you. You need to hear this clearly. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not hesitation. Silence is a strategy. Silence is strength. Silence is control. That's the key. Most people talk too much because they're uncomfortable. They talk to fill space. They talk to avoid tension. They talk because they fear the truth that might surface in the quiet. But smart communicators, disciplined communicators, people with presence, intention, and authority, they use silence like a weapon. They use silence like a mirror. They use silence to pull truth out of others without ever demanding it. You have a choice. Keep talking out of nervous habit, or start using silence with deliberate force. Why silence works, the psychology behind it. There's a reason silence makes people uncomfortable, a reason it exposes insecurity, a reason it reveals the truth faster than any question. Humans hate uncertainty. Humans fear emotional exposure. Humans rush to fill silence with explanations, excuses, or confessions. Silence disarms aggressive people, because aggression feeds on reaction. And when you don't react, the aggression collapses. Silence reveals insecure people, because insecurity cannot handle stillness. It must fill every gap. It must defend itself. It must seek approval through noise. Silence exposes what people really think, because when you don't jump in, they keep talking. And when they keep talking, they reveal more than they planned. That's the key. In silence, people tell on themselves. You don't need their permission to be quiet. You don't need their approval to hold stillness. You need discipline to resist the urge to fill the space.
Real-world power moves. How silence controls the conversation. Here's how powerful communicators weaponize silence. 1. Silence after a statement. Speak your sentence. Stop. Let it hang in the air. Weak communicators rush to soften their point. Strong communicators let their point land. You say something with weight. Then you shut up. And the room feels it. People sit with it. People adjust to it. Silence is a strategy. Silence is strength. Silence is control. 2. Silence when someone challenges you. Most people react instantly. They get defensive. They get emotional. They get thrown off. Not you. Not anymore. When someone challenges you, pause. Hold eye contact. Stay calm. This makes them reveal their real intent. Are they insecure? Are they emotional? Are they bluffing? Your silence exposes it. That's the key. Because when you don't react, their power dissolves. 3. Silence after asking a question. If you ask a question and then jump in to soften it, you lose authority. If you ask a question and let the silence expand, the truth emerges. Smart communicators know this. The person who breaks the silence loses leverage. You have a choice. Break silence because you're afraid, or hold silence because you're grounded. The real reason you fear silence. Let's be honest. The fear of silence comes from the fear of being judged, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being seen. When you stay silent, you feel exposed. You feel vulnerable. You feel like people are analyzing you. And they are. But that's not a weakness. That's an opportunity. Because when you hold silence, you show them something rare: self-control, internal discipline, emotional maturity. It's not about avoiding discomfort. It's about controlling discomfort. It's not about performing confidence. It's about embodying confidence. It's not about filling space. It's about owning space. That's the key. Silence in conflict, the ultimate equalizer. Aggressive people want chaos. They want reaction. They want emotional movement. But silence gives them nothing. Silence gives them no fuel. Silence forces them to confront their own intensity. And they hate that. When you stay silent, they're forced to deal with their own words, their own tone, their own contradictions. Silence disarms them. Silence exposes them. Silence redirects the entire dynamic. You don't win by outshouting them. You win by not feeding them. You have a choice. Match their chaos or anchor the room with your stillness. Silence in negotiation, the underestimated leverage. Negotiators know this. Lawyers know this. Leaders know this. Anyone who deals with power understands this one truth. Silence creates pressure. You ask a question, then you wait, and you keep waiting. The other person starts filling the silence. They reveal numbers. They reveal fears. They reveal motivations. They reveal mistakes. all because they couldn't handle the quiet. Silence is a strategy. Silence is strength. Silence is control. How to practice the discipline of silence? You need reps. You need training. You need real-world practice. Here's your routine. Practice 1. The 2-beat pause. After someone finishes speaking, pause for 2 beats. 1, 2. This makes you appear thoughtful. This makes you appear calm. This makes you appear intentional. Practice 2. The silent response. When someone challenges you, don't respond instantly. Breathe. Look at them. Let the silence do the talking. You don't need their permission to hold stillness. You need discipline. Practice 3. The controlled ending. After you make an important statement, stop. Let the silence punctuate your point. The silence becomes your exclamation mark. Your new rule from this chapter. From today forward, silence becomes one of your tools. You'll stop fearing it. You'll start using it. You'll start embracing it. Say it with me. Silence is a strategy. Silence is strength. Silence is control. Stop rushing. Stop explaining. Stop filling every second. You have a choice. Let silence expose your insecurity, or let silence reveal your power. Transition to the next chapter. You've mastered silence. You've learned how stillness becomes strength. You've learned how quiet creates control. Now it's time to sharpen your message even further. Because silence is powerful, but the words you do speak must be strong, precise, intentional, disciplined. You've learned when not to speak. Now learn how to speak.
Your words are tools. Your words are weapons. Your words are the blueprint of how the world reads you. And most people misuse them. They speak in a way that shrinks them. They speak in a way that apologizes for them. They speak in a way that makes their power invisible. Not because they're weak, but because no one ever taught them the truth. Weak words weaken you. Strong words strengthen you. Choose the words that choose your future. That's the key. You have a choice every time you open your mouth, and that choice decides whether people follow you or ignore you, whether people respect you or walk over you, whether people listen or dismiss you. Strong communication is not about sounding smart. It's not about knowing big vocabulary. It's not about pretending to be confident. It's about discipline. It's about cutting the words that drain your presence. It's about removing the noise that makes you look unsure. It's about speaking in a way that reflects self-control. You don't need their permission to speak with strength. You just need discipline. Let's start with the truth nearly no one notices. Your weakest habits reveal themselves in your smallest words. Maybe. I think. Sort of. Just. Hopefully. Kind of. These words don't provide clarity. They don't provide authority. They don't provide direction. What do they provide? Doubt, hesitation, low-status energy. When you say, "I think we should," you signal uncertainty. When you say, "Maybe we can," you signal insecurity. When you say, "I just wanted to," you signal inferiority. And here's the truth people avoid admitting. No one takes the person of uncertainty seriously. Not in relationships, not in business, not in leadership, not in life. Because weak words weaken you. Strong words strengthen you. You have a choice. Every sentence you speak is an opportunity. You can speak in a way that shrinks you, or in a way that sharpens you. Let me show you something powerful. Weak sentence. I think maybe we should try another idea. Strong sentence. We're choosing another idea. Instant difference. Instant authority. Instant clarity. That's the key. Here's another. Weak. I just wanted to ask if you could send that file. Strong. Send the file. No apology, no shrinking, no unnecessary words. Because strong words strengthen you. Weak words weaken you. Let's keep going. Weak. I'm kind of unsure about this section. Strong. This section needs improvement. Weak. I hope that makes sense. Strong. This is clear. Weak. I guess we could do it this way. Strong. We're doing it this way. Do you hear it? Do you feel it? It's not about arrogance. It's not about superiority. It's not about domination. It's about discipline. Discipline in your tone. Discipline in your message. Discipline in your presence. Strong communication isn't loud. It's precise. It's intentional. It's controlled. You don't need to speak more. You need to speak better. You don't need more words. You need stronger words. You don't need to convince them. You need to command your space. That's the key. Let's step deeper. Weak words don't just change how they hear you. Weak words change how you hear you. When you say, "Maybe we can," you reinforce uncertainty in your own mind. When you say, "I think we should," you signal hesitation to yourself. When you say, "I just wanted to," you train yourself to believe you're interrupting, not contributing. Your language becomes your identity. Your identity becomes your behavior. Your behavior becomes your life. So watch your language. Shape your language. Discipline your language. Because you have a choice. Every time you remove a weak word, you remove a weak version of yourself. Every time you choose a strong word, you strengthen a strong version of yourself. Every time you speak with intention, you sculpt your presence. Let me give you the foundational rule. Speak in statements, not suggestions. Suggestions are soft. Suggestions are uncertain. Suggestions are forgettable. Strong. Statements are strong. Statements are clear. Statements are respected. Weak. Maybe we should start now?
Strong. We're starting now. Weak. I think this needs more work. Strong. This needs more work. You don't need their permission. You need discipline. That's the key. Now let's talk real-world behavior. Here are the actions you must take starting today. 1. Remove filler words ruthlessly. Cut just, maybe, I think, sort of, kind of. If it doesn't add power, remove it. Silence is better than weakness. 2. Speak in short, complete sentences. No rambling, no circling around the point, no explaining your explanation. Say it once, say it clean, say it directly. 3. Replace uncertainty with clarity. Instead of I think, say I know. Instead of maybe, say we will. Instead of hopefully, say this will happen. 4. Own your message. Stand by what you say. Deliver your words with stillness. Deliver your words with presence. Deliver your words with intention. 5. Practice the command voice. Slower pace, lower tone, shorter sentences, fewer words, more silence. You don't need to rush. You don't need to soften. You don't need to please. You need discipline. Weak words weaken you. Strong words strengthen you. Choose the words that choose your future. That's the key. Here's the final truth. People listen to those who sound like they know where they're going. And every strong word you speak is a step toward the life you want. Every weak word you drop is a chain you unlock. Your future is created one sentence at a time, one conversation at a time, one moment of communication at a time. You have a choice. Choose strength. Choose clarity. Choose discipline. Choose the words that shape the life you're building. You've mastered the discipline of strong language. Now it's time to move to the next level of communication power.
People don't wait to understand you. People don't wait to hear your full sentence. People don't wait to discover your real intelligence, capability, or potential. The brain doesn't work that way. The brain forms judgments in 0.2 seconds, a fifth of a second, before you even finish inhaling, before you say hello, before a single word escapes your mouth. And in that 0.2 seconds, your value is measured. Your intelligence is estimated. Your confidence is calculated. First impressions decide everything. First impressions lock your value. First impressions speak louder than truth. That's the key. You have a choice in that 0.2 seconds. You can let your old habits speak for you, or you can let discipline speak for you. It's not about beauty. It's not about genetics. It's not about luck. It's about discipline. The world is not reading your soul. The world is reading your signals. And your signals are loud. Your face, your posture, your tone, your stillness, your presence. All of it communicates before you say a single word. You don't need their permission to control those things. You just need discipline. So let me give you the simple framework that changes everything. The 3 SMART traits. 3 behaviors that make people instantly rate you as intelligent, capable, calm, and high value. Calm face, controlled tone, confident posture. Master these 3, and you rewrite your first impression forever. Let's break them down. 1. Calm face. Your face tells the world everything before you speak. If your face is chaotic, your presence is chaotic. If your expression is anxious, people assume your mind is anxious. If your eyes dart, your value drops instantly. Because the brain is wired to equate facial stillness with confidence, and facial tension with insecurity. Your calm face is your armor. Your calm face is your authority. Your calm face is your first doorway into respect. You have a choice. In every interaction, you can project tension or project control. That's the key. A calm face means relaxed jaw, neutral expression, slow blinking, unreactive micro-expressions, no flinching, no forced smile. You don't need to look angry. You don't need to look bored. You don't need to look superior. You need to look unshaken. Because first impressions decide everything, and people trust the person who looks unbothered. Practice this. Before entering a room, inhale. Let the facial muscles soften. Let the eyebrows drop. Let the expression settle into neutrality. This is how leaders enter. This is how high-value people move. This is how power presents itself. 2. Controlled tone. Your tone reveals your intelligence faster than your words. If you speak with panic, they judge you as panicked. If you speak too fast, they judge you as insecure. If you speak in a high pitch, they judge you as overwhelmed. If you speak with tension, they judge you as unprepared. It doesn't matter if you're brilliant. It doesn't matter if you're talented. It doesn't matter if you have the right answer. If your tone betrays you, your impression collapses. Because first impressions lock your value, and tone is a major lock. You have a choice. You can let your emotions control your voice, or you can let discipline control your voice. A controlled tone is simple. Slower pace, lower pitch, steady rhythm, clear pauses. Zero rushing, zero filler words. People will judge your intelligence by your calmness, not your vocabulary. People will judge your maturity by your pacing, not your knowledge. People will judge your confidence by your tone, not your logic. That's the key. Try this. Before speaking the first sentence, pause for 1 second. Set your posture. Before you greet anyone, lock your face into calm neutrality. Before you speak your first sentence, slow your tone and drop your pitch. Remove nervous gestures. No fidgeting, no unnecessary movements. Own your space. Sit or stand with intention. End every introduction with a pause. Let your presence settle before you continue. You don't need their permission to appear confident.
You don't need their permission to look intelligent. You don't need their permission to be perceived as high value. You have a choice, and now you have the tools. You've learned the discipline of first impressions. You've learned the power of the 0.2-second judgment. Now you're ready for the next level.
People think communication is about speaking more. They think influence comes from explaining. They think respect comes from over-talking. They're wrong, completely wrong. Over-talking destroys respect. Over-talking dilutes authority. Over-talking makes you look insecure, desperate, and unprepared. And here's the truth: most people don't want to hear. The more you talk, the less they listen. The more you explain, the less they believe. The more you ramble, the less you matter. You have a choice. You can keep drowning your message in noise, or you can step into the discipline of power. That's the key. Powerful communicators say less. They let their message breathe. They let silence carry the weight. They let clarity speak for them. You don't need their permission to do the same. You just need discipline. Because it's not about your flaw of over-explaining. It's about the discipline to control your words. Say less, mean more. Let your message breathe. That is the core of this chapter. And if you master it, your presence transforms instantly. Let's break down exactly how high-level communicators use fewer words to create maximum influence. 1. Why over-talking destroys authority. People overtalk for only one reason: insecurity. When you feel insecure, you add more words, more details, more explanation, more justification. But here's the psychological truth. The moment you start explaining too much, people assume you're not confident in what you said. And they're right, because confident people don't over-explain. Confident people don't chase approval. Confident people don't fill the air with pointless noise. They speak once. They speak clearly, then they stop. High-level communicators understand this instinctively. They know the real power is in restraint, not volume. Say less, mean more. Let your message breathe. That's the key. When people hear you ramble, they don't think you're smart. They think you're unsure. They think you're nervous. They think you're seeking validation. But when you use fewer words, they think you're confident. They think you're deliberate. They think you're someone whose thoughts are already sorted and secure. You have a choice. Do you want to sound nervous, or do you want to sound powerful? 2. Short sentences create respect. Power is simple, clear, precise, direct. Every sentence you speak should have weight, authority, purpose. High-level communicators understand that short sentences force clarity, and clarity forces respect. Think of judges, executives, leaders, commanders, people with real authority. They don't speak in paragraphs. They speak in punches. Here's what we're doing. This is the decision. That won't work. Fix it. These sentences are short
because powerful people don't compete for attention. They command attention. You have a choice. You can keep explaining endlessly, or you can step into the world of clarity and authority. Say less, mean more. Let your message breathe. Let me give you a real transformation example so you can see the difference. Weak sentence. I was just thinking maybe we could possibly move the deadline back a little bit if that's okay with everyone. Strong sentence. We're moving the deadline one day. Weak sentence. I feel like this might kind of work. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe we can try it. Strong. This will work. Let's do it. Weak words dilute you. Strong words define you. It's not about your flaw of talking too much. It's about your discipline to communicate with precision. That's the key. 3. The psychology of letting the message breathe. When you finish speaking, don't immediately fill the silence. Don't rush. Don't panic. Don't scramble for approval. Let the message breathe. This is what powerful communicators do. They speak, and then they allow space for the message to settle. That space creates impact. That space creates gravity. That space creates authority. When you stop talking, something important happens. Other people start thinking about your words. And when they think about your words, your influence grows. You don't need their permission to use silence. You just need discipline. Say less, mean more, let your message breathe. Here is a simple rule. If you say something meaningful, stop talking after it. Let them feel it. Don't explain. Don't soften it. Don't water it down. Power doesn't repeat itself. Power doesn't beg for understanding. Power doesn't fill silence. Silence is where authority lives. You have a choice. Use your silence or waste your authority. 4. Real-world instructions. How to speak less and mean more. Here is your step-by-step transformation. Follow these behaviors and you will sound instantly smarter, calmer, and more authoritative. Instruction 1. Cut every sentence in half. Say what needs to be said. Remove everything else. Instruction 2. Stop using weak openers. Remove maybe, I think, I guess, I feel like, I'm not sure but. Replace with, this works. This is the direction. This is the answer. Instruction 3. End your sentences sooner. Stop dragging them out. Stop padding them. Stop searching for perfect wording. Say it. Stop. Let it breathe. Instruction 4. Pause after key statements. 1 second is enough. 2 seconds is power. Instruction 6. Never repeat yourself unless you choose to do so. Repeating from insecurity destroys authority. Repeating with intention creates authority. When they interrupt, don't speed up. Hold your pace. Hold your tone. Hold your calm. When you don't rush, they respect you. Because power never rushes. Say less, mean more, let your message breathe. That's the key. The transformation you're creating. When you stop over-talking, everything changes. People stop interrupting you. People start listening more. People take you seriously. People interpret you as decisive, intelligent, and controlled. This is not accidental. This is psychological. Short sentences equal authority. Concise thoughts equal confidence. Controlled pacing equals maturity. You don't need their permission to change the way you speak. You just need discipline. And once you master the discipline of saying less, your communication becomes magnetic. People lean in. People wait for your words. People value what you say because you don't waste their attention. You have a choice. Continue rambling or step into the world of clarity and influence. Say less, mean more. Let your message breathe. That's the key. Transition to the next chapter. You have now learned the discipline.
You've spent too many years performing, too many years talking to be liked, too many years shaping your voice around other people's reactions, and it's costing you power. Approval-seeking destroys confidence. Approval-seeking destroys clarity. Approval-seeking destroys authority. You already know this. You've felt it. You've watched yourself shrink mid-sentence just because someone raised an eyebrow. That's the trap. And today, you're done with it. This chapter is about ending the performance, ending the pretending, ending the habit of speaking like you're asking for permission, because you don't need their permission. That's the key. Read that again. You don't need their permission. You have a choice. You can speak from insecurity, or you can speak from self-command. You can talk to impress, or you can talk to express. You can chase approval, or you can hold authority. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. It's about training your voice to follow your purpose, not your panic. So, let's break the old pattern. The real cost of seeking approval. When you seek approval, every sentence becomes a performance. You over-explain. You soften your tone. You add unnecessary details just to sound safe. Your message gets diluted. Your presence gets smaller. Your confidence becomes conditional. And here's the truth you've avoided. People don't respect you when you show them you need them. Say that again inside your mind. People don't respect you when you show them you need them. Approval seeking turns your voice shaky because you're not speaking for truth. You're speaking for acceptance. You're speaking for validation. That's why your sentences get long. That's why you ramble. That's why you lose power. But you have a choice. You always had a choice, and today you take it back. The shift from performing to commanding. Here's the difference. Performing says, "Is this okay?" Commanding says, "This is what it is." One is fear. One is truth. One is insecurity. One is clarity. You think confidence is loud. It's not. Confidence is certainty. Confidence is economy. Confidence is simplicity. High-level communicators don't rush. They don't explain themselves into exhaustion. They don't try to convince you. They speak truth, then they stop. Then they let silence work. Say less,
mean more. Let your message breathe. That's the key. The self-command technique. Now, listen carefully. This is the transformation point of the chapter. You're going to learn something called the self-command technique. This technique removes approval seeking and installs authority. It's simple, it's powerful, and it works instantly if you commit. Here it is. Before you speak, tell yourself, I'm stating truth, not asking permission. That sentence flips your internal state. It activates your authority. It grounds your voice. It makes you the source, not the seeker. Say it again inside your mind. I'm stating truth, not asking permission. You don't speak to please. You speak to deliver. You speak to clarify. You speak because you have something that matters. Stop performing. Start speaking. Authority begins inside. That's the key. Real-world application. Let me coach you step by step. 1. Cut your sentences. Shorter sentences. Fewer words. More power. This is discipline. 2. Lower your speed. Approval seekers rush. Leaders pace themselves. Slow equals certain. 3. Stop explaining your existence. Every apology, every "I hope that makes sense," every "sorry to bother you," cut them out. These phrases drain your authority. You don't need their permission. 4. Replace softeners. No more maybe. No more kind of. No more I was just wondering. These are insecurity fillers. You're done with them. 5. End your statements clean. No fading out. No trailing tone. No rising pitch at the end. When you finish, you finish. This is how you speak with command. This is how you reverse years of approval seeking. This is how you rebuild your presence. Because, again, you have a choice. You always did. You are not for everyone, and you shouldn't be. Approval seekers fear rejection. Authority-driven individuals accept it. They understand something most people never learn. Being respected is more important than being liked. People pleasers get attention. Commanders get results. You're not here to be universal. You're here to be effective. You're here to speak your truth cleanly, confidently, and unapologetically. You're not for everyone, and that's the point. When you drop the performance, your real identity shows. Some people will move away. Good. Some people will draw closer. Even better. But most importantly, you'll respect yourself. That's the key. The self-identity reset. Approval seeking is a habit. Authority is a decision. Today, you make the decision. You reset your identity. You stop talking like someone who needs validation. You start talking like someone who knows where they're going. This is the internal shift. You go from, "Do they like me?" to, "Does this align with my truth?" Two completely different worlds. Two completely different futures. You have a choice. Choose self-command. The final command of this chapter. Here is your final instruction.
Memorize it. Use it. Repeat it until it becomes your new operating system. Stop performing. Start speaking. Authority begins inside. This is your new rule. This is your new discipline. This is your new voice. Approval seeking ends today. You mastered the art of authority. Now it's time to master the art of influence.
Most people lose the moment they get emotional. They don't lose because they're wrong. They lose because they react. They lose because they explode. They lose because they let someone else control their state. But that's not you anymore. Because now you understand something most people never learn. You don't win by volume. You win by control. You win by understanding. That's the key. This chapter is about emotional authority in communication, not emotional suppression, emotional authority. The ability to stay steady when others shake. The ability to stay cold when others heat up. The ability to stay clear when others get chaotic. You have a choice. Every conversation gives you a choice. You can lose control or you can hold it. And holding it makes you the strongest person in the room. The problem with emotional reactivity. Emotional reactivity makes you predictable. Predictable people are easy to manipulate, easy to provoke, easy to disarm. When someone wants to see your weakness, they aim for your emotions. They push, they prod, they attack your tone, they question your motives, they insult your intelligence. Why? Because they want you to react. Reacting is losing. Reacting is surrendering control. Reacting hands your power to them. But that's not you anymore. Because today you choose discipline. It's not about ego, it's about discipline. It's not about looking tough, it's about staying unshaken. The person who stays calm controls the room. The person who stays calm controls the direction. The person who stays calm controls the outcome. That's the key. Smart communicators fight differently. Smart communicators don't fight emotionally. They don't argue loudly. They don't match chaos with chaos. They do something very different. They slow the situation down. They redirect. They question. They force the other person to explain themselves. Why? Because explanation drains aggression. Explanation exposes gaps. Explanation forces clarity, and clarity kills chaos. You don't win by volume. You win by control. You win by understanding the real problem while they drown in emotion. Smart communicators know this, and you're becoming one of them. The calm question strategy. Here's the core method of this chapter, the technique that turns arguments into controlled conversations, the technique that stops emotional spirals instantly. It's called the calm question strategy. And it works because of one simple psychological truth. People can't stay aggressive when they're forced to explain themselves calmly. Here's how it works. When someone comes at you emotionally, you don't explain. You don't defend. You don't attack. You ask a calm question. That's the key. Questions redirect the energy. Questions slow the momentum. Questions force the other person to step out of emotion and into logic. For example, help me understand what you mean. What specifically are you upset about? What outcome do you want here? How did you arrive at that conclusion? These questions are simple,
but they work like emotional brakes. You don't win by volume. You win by control. You win by understanding. The psychology behind the strategy. Emotional people expect emotional reactions. They expect defensiveness. They expect you to match their intensity. When you don't, when you instead respond with calm questions, you break the pattern. Suddenly, they're off balance. Suddenly, they realize they have to think instead of yell. Suddenly, the fight becomes a conversation. This is psychological dominance without aggression. This is influence without force. This is control without chaos. You don't need their permission. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to win the emotional battle. You win by staying calm. You win by leading the direction. You win by asking the questions that expose truth, because truth always wins as long as you stay steady enough to reveal it. Real-world application. Let's make this practical. Scenario 1. Someone accuses you unfairly. You don't erupt. You don't defend yourself frantically. You say, "What makes you believe that?" Now they must think. Now they must justify. Now you lead. Scenario 2. Someone raises their voice. You don't match their volume. You lower yours. Then you ask, what outcome are you trying to achieve by speaking like this? Now they face themselves. Now their behavior is exposed. Now the power shifts. Scenario 3. Someone tries to provoke you. You don't react. You don't bite the bait. You say, "Why is this important to you?" The provocation dies. The heat drops. The dominance returns to you. This is discipline. This is control. This is intelligence applied in real time. You have a choice in every conflict. You can react like everyone else, or you can control the situation like leaders do. The internal shift. You must train yourself to stop seeing calmness as passivity. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is strategy. Calmness is self-respect. Calmness is authority. Anyone can yell. Anyone can explode. Anyone can lose themselves in emotion. But you're not anyone. You're becoming someone who commands themselves first, because commanding yourself is how you command outcomes. It's not about being perfect. It's about discipline. It's about choosing control over chaos. It's about leading yourself before leading the conversation. You have a choice. Choose control. The final command of this chapter. Here is the rule you walk away with. Memorize it. Practice it. Make it part of your nature. You don't win by volume. You win by control. You win by understanding. That's your new communication code. That's your new emotional operating system. That's the discipline that separates leaders from reactors. You mastered calm control today. Now it's time to master strategic silence.
Most people don't understand this. They think power comes from loudness. They think influence comes from speed. They think dominance comes from intensity. They're wrong. Real power is slow. Real influence is calm. Real dominance is grounded. Because the truth is simple. A slow, stable, grounded tone triggers trust, influence, and dominance instantly. Calm is powerful. Calm is persuasive. Calm is unforgettable. That's the key. Today's chapter is about mastering the voice that people trust, the tone people follow, the presence people feel before they process your words. You have a choice. You can speak like everyone else, rushed, nervous, shaky. Or you can speak like someone who respects themselves. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation. You need discipline. It's not about sounding impressive. It's about sounding in control. Your tone is a signal. People don't just hear your tone, they interpret it. Your tone tells them what you believe about yourself. Your tone tells them whether you're confident or insecure. Your tone tells them whether to follow you or ignore you. Your tone reveals more than your words, and it reveals it faster. If your voice trembles, people sense fear. If your voice races, people sense uncertainty. If your voice cracks upward, people sense insecurity. But when your tone is slow, when your tone is stable, when your tone is grounded, people feel something different. They feel presence. They feel certainty. They feel authority. Calm is powerful. Calm is persuasive. Calm is unforgettable. The tone that builds trust. Trust is created by predictability. Unpredictable tones scare people. Inconsistent tones confuse people. Emotional tones overwhelm people. But a calm tone, a steady tone, a grounded tone, that tone builds trust faster than any sentence you could say. It says, I know who I am. I know what I'm saying. I'm not here to perform. I'm here to speak truth. People follow voices that feel safe. People obey voices that feel certain. People believe voices that don't shake. You have a choice, and the tone you choose determines the influence you earn. The 3 core tone adjustments. Let's get practical. Let's talk about the exercises you must use. Not optional, mandatory. Because transformation is built on practice, not inspiration. 1. Lower your pitch. Lowering your pitch doesn't mean forcing your voice deeper. It means relaxing your throat, relaxing your breath, relaxing your pace. A lower pitch signals control. A lower pitch signals stability. A lower pitch signals strength. Say this sentence right now. I'm here. Now say it again, but drop your pitch by just 5%. Feel the difference. Hear the difference. That's authority. Calm is powerful. 2. Remove emotional spikes. Emotional spikes destroy credibility. They're the little jumps in tone when you're nervous, the little cracks when you're stressed, the little rises at the end of sentences that make statements sound like questions. You must eliminate them completely. Because emotional spikes signal insecurity, and insecurity kills influence. Practice saying statements with a flat, steady finish. I understand. I'll handle it. This is my decision. I'm not moving. No rise, no wobble, no spike. Just discipline. Calm is persuasive. 3. Add deliberate pauses. This is the technique that separates amateurs from leaders. Pauses show confidence. Pauses show clarity. Pauses show control. When you pause, you claim the room. When you pause, you show you're not rushed. When you pause, you show your message has weight. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill it. They rush because they feel unworthy of attention. But you're different. You let your message breathe. Say a sentence. Pause for 1 second. Then continue. That 1 second changes everything because it shows them something deeper. You're not in a hurry. You're not anxious. You're not scrambling to be heard. You already own the moment. Calm is unforgettable. The psychology of a grounded tone. A slow, stable tone rewires how people treat you. They become more attentive, more respectful, more cautious. Why? Because your tone changes their nervous system. Your calmness calms them. Your steadiness steadies them. Your control forces them to adjust to your pace. They slow down because you slow down. They lower their aggression because you lower your tone. They think more clearly because your voice gives them structure. This is psychological leadership. This is subconscious influence. This is how powerful communicators win without force. You don't win by sounding emotional. You win by sounding inevitable. Real-world transformation. Let's apply it. When someone challenges you, don't speed up. Slow down. Say, "Let's make this clear." When someone tries to dominate you, don't raise your voice. Drop your tone. Say, "I'm not reacting, I'm deciding." When someone presses you for quick answers, don't rush. Pause. Say, "I'll answer when it's time." Every time you speak like this, you control the interaction. Every time you ground your tone, you ground the room. Every time you slow your voice, you speed up their respect. You have a choice. Choose presence over panic. Choose calm over chaos. Choose discipline over emotion. That's the key. The internal upgrade. This chapter isn't just about vocal technique. It's about identity. You're building the voice of someone who believes in themselves, someone who doesn't need external approval, someone who speaks from a place of inner command. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. It's about committing to the tone that matches your new mindset. Calm is powerful. Calm is persuasive. Calm is unforgettable. And becoming unforgettable is a choice. Closing command. You've learned how to shape the tone that shapes your life, the tone that builds trust, the tone that demands respect, the tone that sets you apart. Your voice is no longer random. Your voice is a weapon. Your voice is a tool. Your voice is a signal. And now you control it. You mastered the grounded tone today. Now it's time for the next level, using your presence to influence entire rooms.
People rarely remember the middle of a conversation. They rarely remember the details. They rarely remember all the explanations, clarifications, or justifications you give. But they always remember the last thing you say, the last sentence, the final line, the ending of your message. That's the reality, and it's why most communicators fail. They forget the power of the end. They let conversations, meetings, negotiations, and speeches drift away without control. They let the last impression be accidental. You don't have to be that person. You have a choice. You can end with intention. You can end with clarity. You can end with power. That's the key.
This chapter is about mastering what I call the end line strategy. How to close every sentence, conversation, or presentation like a leader. How to leave the listener with certainty, authority, and respect. You don't need their permission to control your ending. You just need discipline. It's not about memorizing lines. It's about creating transformation through closure. Why the end line matters. Neuroscience tells us that people remember the last thing we say more than anything else. It's called the recency effect. It's powerful. It's undeniable. The end of your communication frames how the listener interprets the whole conversation. A weak ending dilutes all your effort. A strong ending elevates everything you said. Let me make it clear. It's not about how much you said in the middle. It's about how you finish. End with intention. End with clarity. End with power. Think about it. When a CEO concludes a speech with a decisive statement, the audience leaves inspired. When a leader closes a negotiation with a firm final line, the other party respects the boundary. When a parent finishes a directive with authority, the child obeys without argument. All endings carry psychological weight. And if you master them, you control perception. You have a choice. You can finish weakly and be forgotten, or finish strongly and be remembered forever. The 3 types of end lines. High-level communicators use 3 types of endings consistently. 1. Clear decisions. Clear decisions remove ambiguity. They show confidence. They demonstrate control. Example: we'll implement this plan starting Monday. No maybe. No if that works for you. Just a decision. Decisions command respect because they reflect certainty. Action. Every meeting or conversation, practice stating the final decision aloud. Feel the weight of the words. Feel the authority. End with intention. 2. Direct conclusions. Direct conclusions summarize and clarify. They leave no room for misinterpretation. Example: in conclusion, this strategy is non-negotiable. We follow it exactly as discussed. Direct conclusions do 3 things. They cement your credibility, they reinforce your message, and they give the listener a sense of closure. It's not about repeating everything. It's about highlighting the takeaway that matters. End with clarity. 3. Confident summaries. Confident summaries reinforce authority. They leave an impression of competence and control. Example: we've covered the facts. We've addressed the objections. Now it's time to act. A confident summary ties together all points and signals action. It tells the listener, this is how it is, and we move forward. Practice ending all your key statements with a confident summary. Over time, people begin to anticipate your final line, respect it, and follow it without question. End with power. How to build an unforgettable end line. There are 3 steps to mastering endings. Step 1. Prepare your ending before you speak. Don't leave it to chance. Know how you will finish before you even start. Decide the final sentence, the tone, and the impact. Preparation creates discipline. Discipline creates authority. You have a choice. You can leave your ending to luck, or you can craft it intentionally. That's the key. Step 2. Use pauses for maximum effect. Pause before your final line. Pause after it. The pause signals weight. It signals deliberation. It signals that what you just said matters. Most people rush the ending. They panic to finish. They rob their words of impact. Pause. Deliver the end line. Pause again. People remember it longer. People respect it more. People internalize it deeply. End with intention. End with clarity. End with power. Real-world application. Let's make it concrete. Scenario 1. Workplace meeting. You've presented a proposal. Before anyone questions or hesitates, close with, "This is our direction. We start Monday, no exceptions." Clear decision, immediate authority, unquestionable respect. Scenario 2. Difficult conversation. Someone challenges your idea. You respond calmly, then conclude. "We've discussed all points. The plan stays as outlined. Let's move forward." Direct conclusion, clarity and control reinforced. Scenario 3. Public speaking. After delivering your key points, close with, "Remember this." Action, discipline, execution. That is the only path forward. Every time you use these techniques, your communication becomes magnetic. Every time you control the ending, you control perception. You have a choice. Let your endings fade or make them unforgettable. That's the key. The internal shift. Endings are not an afterthought. Endings are the climax of your influence. Endings are how people remember you. Endings are how you leave a mark. You're no longer someone who lets conversations drift away. You are someone who closes with authority, someone who shapes perception, someone who leaves an imprint. It's not about being dramatic. It's about being deliberate. It's not about fear of silence. It's about discipline in closure. End with intention. End with clarity. End with power. Closing command. From now on, every time you speak, ask yourself, what will my last line be? Craft it. Deliver it. Own it. You have mastered the art of influence, presence, and authority. Now you master the art of memorable endings. Endings define you. Endings control perception. Endings build legacy. You mastered the end-line strategy. Now it's time for the next level, commanding attention before you even speak.
You now understand the psychology of powerful communication. You know that smart speaking is not about sounding impressive. It's about being intentional. You know that speed kills authority. Silence builds power. Posture speaks before your mouth does, and your tone is the real message people hear. You know that weak words weaken your future, that calmness wins arguments, and that every conversation ends with a final moment that defines who you are. This entire audiobook has given you tools, not theories, strategies, not noise. If you want respect, use them. If you want influence, practice them. If you want to speak smart, speak with purpose. From this moment forward, every word you say either builds your value or destroys it. So choose your words like they build the life you want. Now the challenge. For the next 7 days, speak slowly. Remove weak words, use silence intentionally, and end every conversation with clarity. You will feel the difference, you will see the difference, and everyone around you will hear the difference. This is your new voice. Use it with power.